Honeybees can see the world in a completely different way than we do. Let me explain. So, the question of how other animals see the world have always puzzled scientists. And the answer might be trickier than you might think. Think about a red traffic light. We both stop when we see it, and we both call it red. But how do you know that the red that I see is the same red that you see? This simple question seems to be almost impossible to answer. We can't know how honeybees experience the world, but we do know what its eyes can detect. So let's start with how humans see colors. This is the range of light visible to the human eye. On this side are the shorter wavelengths, where the blue is. On the other side are the longer wavelengths, where the red is. The three colored curves represent the spectrum of light our eyes are sensitive to. This is why, under a microscope, every screen seems to have a tiny red, green, and blue rectangles. Together, they make up each pixel. Now, let's compare that to a honeybee. If we look at the receptors in its eyes, we will find receptors for green, receptors for blue, but there are no receptors for red light. Instead, honeybees have receptors for the ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet lights are way too short for our receptors to identify. But for honeybees, it's part of its visible world. And that's where evolution gets really interesting. Take this flower, for example. This is how we see it. But under ultraviolet light, a completely different pattern appears. These patterns are called nectar guides. To us, they're invisible. To a bee, they're impossible to miss. Over millions of years, these flowers developed these nectar guides to help pollinators find the pollen and the nectar more quickly. The easier a flower was to find, the more likely it was to be pollinated. In this study, for example, the scientists tried to take into account everything that we know about the honeybee vision to create the closest picture of what a bee might be seeing. This is a scientific simulation. On the left is the flower as we see it. On the right is our best estimate of how a honeybee sees the same flower. While we'll never know how exactly the honeybee experience and see the world, science allows us to make a remarkably good prediction. If you enjoy science-based facts about honeybees, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and follow for more. See you.